Alright, everybody, we are here with TEW9, the War of Immortals, the WWF Classics. So, we are here booking our next episode of WWFC Superstars. So, let's take a quick look at last week's episode, where we had Barry Horowitz, Chris Adams, Kenta Kobayashi defeat Dino Bravo, King Kong Bundy, and the natural Butch Reed. Then we started the show off with Vince and Jesse running down the card. We had Nick Bockwinkel defeat Dick Murdoch, Jim Duggan talking about how he hates the Twin Towers and all the baloney that they have put him through. Then Duggan and Snuka defeated the Twin Towers. Mr. Perfect ran down Jake Roberts before their match at Saturday night's main event. We had the Natural Disasters defeat Power and Glory. The Rougeaus talk about how they hate the LOD. We had Rick Rude defeat Coco Beware. We had Larry Zbyszko talk about how he is sick of Nick Bockwinkel and how he's going to take him out. Then we had Larry and Ted defeat the Bushwhackers. We had Savage say he's going to take out the Ultimate Warrior, that he is done with him. Then the Ultimate Warrior defeated the Honky Tonk Man. Ted DiBiase talk about how he is so over Lex Luger and how he's going to beat him for the WWF Intercontinental title at Saturday night's main event. Then we had Mr. Perfect defeat Bruno Sammartino in the main event, which got a great 90. The show last week got a 91 in an attendance of 11,738 people in the Dunkin' Donuts Center. So I am going to go ahead, book this week's episode, and I will be right back. Alright, everybody, we are back. We have our show booked for the night, so let's hop in with our first pre-show match. In a pre-show match that had decent wrestling and little heat, Power and Glory defeated the Nasty Boys in 12:08 when Hercules pinned Jerry Saggs with the Powerplex. The crowd heat is expected and simmering. The wrestling got us a 63. The crowd got us a 38. The segment got a 70. Jerry Saggs had a 67. Brian Knobbs had a 66. Paul Roma had a 60. Hercules had a 58. Brian Knobbs and Jerry Saggs showed excellent chemistry teaming together, and they got a tag team specialist bonus. Hercules and Paul Roma got a tag team specialist. Jesse and Vince had pretty good chemistry when calling matches together. The commentary quality lifted. And the color commentary also gave it a boost as well. So let's head into our first segment. Okay, I didn't think that'd work. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another exciting edition of WWFC Superstars. I'm Vince McMahon, alongside Jesse, the Body Ventura. We have a tremendous night of action ahead of us. You're not kidding, McMahon. Tonight is loaded from top to bottom. We've got champions in action, bitter rivals, and a main event that could shake up the entire WWFC. That's right. In our huge main event tonight, WWFC World Heavyweight Champion Jake the Snake Roberts steps into the ring against one of the most dangerous men in the sport, Larry Zbyszko. Larry's been looking to make a statement, McMahon, and what better statement is there than beating the world champion? Jake Roberts better have his eyes open tonight. Also tonight, the WWFC Tag Team Champions, the Fabulous Rougeaus, will be defending their Tag Team Championships. The Rougeaus always find a way to win, but every team in the WWFC wants those belts. Tonight could be the night their luck finally runs out. And fans, don't miss this one. It's going to be a hard-hitting battle when Dirty Dick Murdoch goes one-on-one with Sergeant Slaughter. That's not a wrestling match, McMahon. That's a fight. Neither man knows how to back down, and somebody's going to feel the effects of that one for weeks. The road to SummerSlam continues tonight, and every match could have major championship implications. If I were sitting at home, I'd grab a snack and stay glued to my television because this is going to be one heck of a night. Ladies and gentlemen, this is WWF Superstars, and the action begins right now. So the crowd is hot and rising. We got a 92. It advanced all of our storylines. Uh, Jesse Ventura worked the crowd well, using the freedom to improvise to his advantage. Vince McMahon did a masterful job of improvising interactions with the crowd. Uh, the angle got the crowd hotter, and I got the show off to a strong start. So, let's head to our first match of the night. In a decent match, Nick Bockwinkel defeated Big Boss Man in 15:27 by pinfall with a pile driver. The crowd heat is white hot. The wrestling got us a 71. The crowd got us a 69. We got an 81. Nick Bockwinkel had a 66. Big Boss Man had a 75. It advanced the Boss Man Funk storyline, and Nick Bockwinkel versus Larry Zbyszko. Jesse and Vince had pretty good chemistry. The commentary quality lifted it, and the match got the crowd hotter. So, let's head to our next segment. Oh, that's about the best I've gotten out of him. All right. Listen up, baby. The Mouth of the South has done it again. Everybody's been talking about the Road Warriors, the Midnight Express, the Rougeos, and all these other tag teams running around the WWFC. But while everybody else was busy talking, I was busy making moves. I went out and found the hottest, toughest, most dangerous tag team in all of professional wrestling. In just a few moments, the entire WWFC is going to find out exactly what I'm talking about. Oh, I hear you people don't like it because you know what's coming. You know your precious bushwhackers are about to be in for the fight of their lives. Bushwhackers, you boys can lick your heads, march around, and entertain these fans all you want. But when the bell rings, entertainment time is over. My team didn't come here to make friends. They didn't come here to shake hands. They came here to win. And after they beat the Bushwhackers tonight, every team in the WWFC better pay attention, because this is just the beginning. The tag team division is about to change forever, baby. So hit the music, let's get to that ring, and let my boys show the world what they're all about. Woo, baby, the Hart Foundation of Tag Team Wrestling has arrived. So, the crowd heat is very hot. The segment got a 75. It advanced the Rhythm and Blues and Natural Disaster storyline. And let's head to that tag team match. In a decent match, Rhythm and Blues defeated the Bushwhackers in 12:10 when Honky Tonk Man pinned Bushwhacker Luke with a double belly to back suplex. The crowd heat is very hot. The wrestling rating got a 61. The crowd got a 58. The segment got us a 75. Greg Valentine had a 63. Honky Tonk Man had a 71. Luke had a 57. And Butch had a 54. It advanced Rhythm and Blues and Natural Disasters. Luke and Butch showed excellent chemistry. Jesse and Vince had pretty good chemistry. The commentary quality lifted it. The color commentary gave it a boost. Jimmy Hart did good work at ringside, and Greg Valentine and Jimmy Hart have pretty good chemistry. So that's not too bad. So we see the debut of Rhythm and Blues since I took the $1 million title off of Greg on purpose just so I could bring him over and make them a tag team. give them a good run, and kind of see what we could do with rhythm and blues. They have pretty good stats so far, so I mean I can't complain. Honky outperforming Greg Valentine is a little weird, but you know what? It is what it is. So let's head to the next segment. Ho! You know something, tough guys? Ever since I won this WWFC Television Championship, everybody's been asking the same question. Who's next? Well, let me tell you something. I didn't win this championship by hiding from competition. I didn't win it by ducking challengers, and I sure didn't win it by taking shortcuts. I won it the old fashioned way: hard work, determination, and a whole lot of fight, tough guy. So if there's anybody in that locker room that thinks they could take this title away from old Hacksaw Jim Duggan, step up. I don't care if you're big. I don't care if you're small. I don't care if you're a veteran or a rookie. You want a shot at the WWFC Television Championship, you got it. Because a fighting champion defends his title against all challengers. So Bossman, Earthquake, Rick Rude, Ted DiBiase, anybody back there that wants a piece of hacksaw, come and get it. This championship ain't going anywhere without a fight, and I promise every single fan watching that I'll defend it against anybody, anytime, anywhere. That's what a champion does, tough guy. Oh, USA! USA! So the crowd heat is very hot. We got an 88 from Duggan. It advances the Duggan Dick Murdoch storyline. So that's pretty good. So let's head to our next match here. So, in a bout that had good wrestling and decent reaction from the crowd, Hacksaw Jim Duggan defeated Akeem in 8:40 by pinfall with his running clothesline tackle. And Jim Duggan makes defense number 4 of the WWFC World Television title. The crowd heat is very hot. The wrestling rating got a 76. The crowd got us a 66. The segment got us an 80. Akeem got a 64. Duggan got an 88. It advanced the Hacksaw Dick Murdoch storyline. The only penalty was that there was a lack of psychology. Jesse and Vince both had pretty good chemistry. Slick did good work at ringside. Akeem and Slick have pretty good chemistry, so that's not too bad. So let's head to our next segment. A lot of people have been talking about what happened at Saturday night's main event. Mr. Perfect came into the match believing his own hype. He believed it because he called himself perfect. Because he catches a football, throws a towel behind his back, that somehow he was destined to become the WWFC World Heavyweight Champion. But destiny is a funny thing. Because when the smoke cleared, when the fight was over, when all the promises and predictions were done, I was still standing here with this. Mr. Perfect pushed me harder than most men ever have. I'll give him that. He came close, real close. But close only counts in horseshoes and grenades. The fact is simple. Mr. Perfect wanted this championship. He needed this championship. But he failed. That's the difference between wanting something and taking something. A lot of men want to be the world champion. A lot of men think they deserve to be world champion. But there's only one man carrying this title, and that's Jake Roberts. So to Mr. Perfect, thank you for the challenge. But the snake is still alive, and the WWFC World Heavyweight Championship is still mine. So the crowd heat is very hot. The segment got us a 92. It advanced the Jake Mr. Perfect storyline. So let's head to our next match here. So, in a wild brawl that had good wrestling and decent reaction from the crowd, Dick Murdoch defeated Sergeant Slaughter in 11:43 by pinfall with his Texas Brainbuster. The crowd heat is very hot. The wrestling got a 73. The crowd got a 65, so we got a 78. Slaughter had a 72. Dick had a 73. It advanced the Hacksaw Dick Murdoch storyline. Vince and Jesse have pretty good chemistry, and the commentary quality lifted the match. So, let's head to our next segment here. Ultimate Warrior. Oh, yeah. I've had about enough of you, brother. Everywhere I go, there you are. Every time I start climbing back to the top, there you are. Every time I take one step towards reclaiming what belongs to me, the WWFC World Heavyweight Championship, you're standing in my way. Yeah. Well, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of hearing about the Ultimate Warrior. Yeah. I'm sick of looking at the Ultimate Warrior, and most of all, I'm sick of fighting the Ultimate Warrior. You see, Warrior, at SummerSlam on August 18th. This isn't just another match. This isn't just another battle. This is the end of the road. Dig it! Because while you've been running around shaking ropes and talking about the power of the Warrior, the Macho King has been thinking, planning, calculating every move. And I got a plan, yeah, a plan to get rid of you once and for all. A plan to make sure that after SummerSlam, you are no longer standing between me and my destiny. The madness is focused, Warrior. The madness is dangerous, and at SummerSlam, the madness is coming for you. When it's over, there won't be any doubts. There won't be any questions. There won't be any Ultimate Warriors standing in my way. Because after I put you down, oh yeah, there's only one thing left for the Macho King to do. Take back the WWFC World Heavyweight Championship and reclaim my throne to the top of this company. SummerSlam, Warrior, your time is up. Ooh, yeah. So the crowd heat is very hot. The segment got us a 96. It advanced the Warrior Randy Savage storyline. A little bit of a cryptic message there from Savage, you know. Wonder what he's got planned, what kind of match he's going to want to have. You know, talking about sending Warrior away from the WWFC. So, we'll have to find out eventually over the next few weeks. So, let's head to our next segment here. So, in a good match, Kenta Kobayashi and Lex Luger defeated Ted DiBiase and Rick Rude in 2006 when Luger submitted DiBiase with his torture rack. The crowd heat is very hot. The wrestling rating got a 79. The crowd got a 76. Yeah, overall it got us a 76, so it's kind of low. Considering everybody's got really good performances. Lex got an 82. Kenta's got a 74. Rick's got a 79. Ted DiBiase's got a 79. It advanced the Fatal 4-Way and lost heat. Ted DiBiase seemed off his game. Jesse and Vince have pretty good chemistry. The commentary quality lifted it. Ted DiBiase benefited from having a hot new move, and Kenta is getting better at his gimmick, so that's pretty good. So let's head to our next segment. Jake Roberts, I've been doing a lot of thinking lately, and the more I think about it, the more I realize something. I should be the WWFC World Heavyweight Champion. Let's look at the facts, Jake. Every time we've been in the ring together, I've proven that I belong at the top of this company. I've beaten the best, I've won championships. I've done everything there is to do in professional wrestling perfectly, but somehow, some way, you're still walking around with the richest prize in the sport. Well, Jake, I'm not satisfied. I'm not going away, and I'm certainly not done chasing that championship. I want another shot at you. I want another shot at the WWFC World Heavyweight Championship. No excuses, no distractions, just you and me in the middle of that ring. You call yourself a master of mind games, you call yourself the snake, but eventually, every snake gets caught. And the man who's going to catch you is Mr. Perfect. So, Jake, enjoy carrying the title while you can. Enjoy hearing your name announced as champion, because sooner rather than later, you're going to hear something you won't like. And new WWFC World Heavyweight Champion, Mr. Perfect. Because champions come and go, but perfection lasts forever. So the crowd heat at the end is very hot. The segment got us an 89. It advanced the Rude perfect storyline and perfect benefited from having a hot catchphrase. So let's hop in to our next match. In a bout that had good wrestling and decent reaction from the crowd, the fabulous Rougeaus defeated the Dudley Boys in 1651 when Jacques Rougeau pinned Bubba Dudley with Le Baume de Rougeau. The Rougeaus make defense number 11 of the WWFC Tag Team titles. The crowd heat is very hot. The wrestling rating got us a 78. The crowd got us a 70, so we finished it off with a 90. Devon had a 78, Bubba had a 73, Raymond had a 79, and Jacques had an 82. It advanced the Rougeau's Road Warrior storyline. Bubba and Devon showed excellent chemistry. They got a tag team specialist. Jacques and Raymond showed excellent chemistry. Vince and Jesse have pretty good chemistry. Jacques and Jimmy have pretty good chemistry. Raymond and Jimmy have pretty good chemistry. And Bubba benefited from having a hot new move as well. So that's pretty good. So an all around pretty great match there. So let's head to our next segment here. Larry Zbyszko, for months now, you and I have been at each other's throats. We fought in the ring, we fought outside the ring, and we've taken this rivalry to places neither one of us ever imagined. You called me old, you called me washed up, you spent every opportunity trying to prove that you're the better than me. Well, Larry, at SummerSlam, we're finally going to get our answers. No more distractions, no more excuses, no more running. Just you and me. You wanted to make a name for yourself at my expense. You wanted to erase my legacy. But what you've learned is that legends don't go away so easily. At SummerSlam, this feud ends one way or another. We're going to settle this once and for all. And when it's over, Larry, you'll finally understand something I've known my entire career. Class beats arrogance, experience beats ego, and Nick Bockwinkel beats Larry Zbyszko. So prepare yourself, Larry, because at SummerSlam, I'm not coming to win. I'm coming to end this feud. So the crowd heat's very hot. It got us a 66. It advanced the Nick and Larry storyline. The commentary quality lifted it. The color commentary gave her a boost as well. That's right. That's why he's doing so bad. So let's head to the closing match of the night. In about the head, great heat and decent wrestling, Jake the Snake defeated Larry Zbyszko in 10-19 with his DDT. Uh, Jake makes defense number 2 of the WWFC World Title. The crowd heat is very hot. The wrestling rating got a 68. The crowd got an 80. The segment got us an 81. Larry had a 58. Jake had a 78. It advanced both storylines. Larry and Jake didn't click, so that's why the match wasn't as good. Jesse and Vince had pretty good chemistry. The commentary quality lifted it. and the match got the crowd buzzing as well. So let's finish off the show and see what we finished with here. And we got an 86. That's not too bad. Uh, could have been a lot better. So we increased our popularity in 5 regions. We would have gained 2 in the U.S., 1 in Canada, 6 in Mexico. The show benefited from having quite a wide selection of angles. Financial report, we made $742,000. The pop recap, we're up to 80 in most of Canada. That's pretty good. Just need the Maritimes of British Columbia to get up there. So, that is everything for this episode. I will see everybody in the next one.